Good morning, everybody. Andrew Cady here, sitting in for Anthony Casa. Welcome to the final installment of the weekly sales meeting. What do I mean by the final installment? Well, we're changing things up. Starting on next Thursday, February 1st, we're switching the weekly sales meeting up to the monthly sales rally. Why the big change? Well, the big change is focusing on less meetings and really focusing on higher quality content in the meetings that we have. The monthly sales rally that we're going to have is going to feature guest speakers. We're going to touch on high-level project updates, on where the focus of the company is going and where the direction we're going. And we aim to add a lot more substance to the topics. For me, I'm super excited about it. So join us next Thursday, 11 a.m., February 1st, and this will go on the first Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Eastern. So weekly sales meeting going away, monthly sales rally coming right up. Today, I want to talk to you about morning routine. If you know me at all, you know I have dialed in a morning routine over the past couple of years of my life, but I wasn't always this way. Morning routines wasn't a thing I always did. And when I didn't have a solid morning routine, I would truly find myself at the end of the day just worn out, burned out, and I felt like I was chasing all day, but really not getting a lot of high profit activities done throughout the day. So you got to ask yourself the question, is your day driving you, or are you driving your day? And really, in my opinion, that starts with the very, very way you start your day, how you begin your routine. Let's face it, not having a morning routine is actually a morning routine. We all have one. Either some are very, very healthy for our mind and our body and our goals and where we want to go. But if you don't have a morning routine, you actually do, and it's not healthy for your mind, your body, and where your goals and dreams and where you want to go in this business. So for me, I love to get up super early in the morning. This isn't a thing where I'm telling you have to get up early. For me, I find such value in getting up early and getting a lot of stuff done before anyone else is waking up. I feel like I have conquered so much by the time most people even get out of bed. There's such a satisfaction found in that. Block off some time. Time blocking to me is something in the mortgage industry that doesn't generally work very well. We work in a very highly reactive business where we're always reacting to fires or information that's coming in, market changes, things like that. So we can't time block, every minute of every day, but begin to live by your calendar. So for me, when I get up in the morning, always brew that cup of coffee, get my dog up with me. I usually bring my notepad out, look at my calendar, see what I have for the day, see what free time I have for the day, and see if I can block out 2 one-hour blocks that I can block out specifically to focus on high-profit activities. What's a high-profit activity? Well, let's face it. If you're an originator and you're out gathering documents from a buyer and renaming them and straightening JPEGs, that's not high-profit business. Like that's what we have to do sometimes to get the business done. But that's not a high return on your time. Your high return on your time is speaking and communicating with real estate agents, past clients, breaking bread, sitting down and having lunch with a prospective agent you could work with. High profit activities is what is going to grow your business, not sustain your current business. So block off an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon where you close your emails down. You don't answer inbound calls. In this business, there is nothing that happens that can't wait 1 hour. Let's just be honest. There's no fire that needs to be put out within 40 minutes. So if you got the fire that pops up halfway into your, what I call a power hour, continue the power hour, finish it out, and dedicate 2 time blocks a day to really working those high profit activities. I would also recommend blocking off a couple 30-minute segments a day to just have time to regather and refocus your thoughts. This business gets a little crazy, especially as we see rates coming down, we see the business picking up. We can find ourselves spinning our wheels and really just working and grinding. At the end of the day, we lose focus at points. We get so busy. I think it's super important to set aside a little time where you can take 15 to 30 minutes, pull a notepad out, pull your calendar back up, reevaluate where you're at, what you've done for the day, what other projects and priorities absolutely have to be done, add them to your calendar. If you can begin to live and breathe a calendar, everything in my life goes on my calendar. And if you can begin to live and breathe a calendar situation, you're going to find yourself so much more productive as your day goes on. Focus on those high profit activities. Focus on time to regather your thoughts. Take a moment to set aside time and look, hey, This is what I've accomplished, but these two projects must be done. Block them off on your calendar, add it in, set the time aside, and watch how much more productive you become in this business. Just a couple of hours here and there can change the trajectory of where your business goes in the future. I'm going to hand it off to the one, the only, the amazing Matt Gougé, and I'll be back with you.
Hey guys, Matt Gougé, Matt the Mortgage Guy out here in California. Excited to talk to the U family today about education. There's a saying that Matt Ishbia says that I absolutely love. Knowledge drives confidence, confidence drives success. This applies to us as loan originators, but it also applies to our clients. So if you're on the daily sales huddle that we hold at 2 p.m. Eastern at UMortgage, you're learning, you're getting better, you're becoming more knowledgeable. That's going to drive your confidence as a loan originator and your success as a loan originator. But take it one step further. When you embed education and knowledge in your clients, it drives their confidence. Their confidence leads to success in getting an offer accepted, going out there and buying real estate and winning, right? And so starting with you as a loan originator, I think education is the most important thing. I harp on clients all the time. Ask the questions. I don't expect you to be an expert because you don't do this every single day. You're a nurse or a firefighter or a school teacher or a software engineer, right? I'm the mortgage expert. Let me teach you. Let me show you exactly what you should be looking for and looking at when it comes to structuring the perfect mortgage for your scenario. So daily, I'm trying to embed as much knowledge as possible in my brain so I can share it with clients. The way I do that is through video, through phone conversations, home buyer workshops, face-to-face conversations at open houses, constantly trying to do my best to educate the end consumer because they don't know. They're not in it every single day like we are. They want videos. They want different ways of communication. And as loan originators, it's great. We can get on social media and blast out to 1,000 people, or we can sit across the desk and do it one-on-one. And most of us should be doing a combination of all of it, right? So do yourself the favor and continue to learn and get better every single day, get better every day, the UMortgage way, and then go out there and see what a difference it makes in your business. Because I promise you, empowering buyers through education to make smart home buying decisions is the biggest value add that we have, in my opinion. And so buyers want to know about the 1.0 buy down. Quick shout that on this Friday, the 26th, on our daily sales huddle, I'm going to be talking about the buy down, how to talk to realtors about it, how to talk to clients about it, how to structure it, how to present it, the best ways to do it. That's an example of something that when you give the buyer and their real estate agent that education, that knowledge is driving their confidence. They're confident. You know what? Matt explained it to me. I got a video. I watched it 4 times on Loom. I know exactly what I'm trying to do. I want to buy something at 600,000. We're going to put 10% down. We're going to ask the seller for this much in credit. It's going to allow us to do 5.49 in year 1, 6.49 in years 2 through 30. This is the payment in year 1. This is the payment in years 2 through 30. The buyer feels confident. So when they see the house that works, they don't have to sit on it for 2 days. They tell their agent, yep, let's write it. I've already seen what the numbers look like. I'm confident. Write the offer at 600,000. I know exactly what I'm looking for and how it's going to be structured mortgage wise. And this is the house that fits our criteria. Let's go. So I implore you, do your best to get better every day. The best way to do that as a loan originator is to learn more. The more you learn, the more you earn. I promise you. See you on the daily sales huddle. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Corie Meredith, VP of Marketing here at UMortgage, and I'm super excited to be with you for another weekly sales meeting. Today, we're going to talk about something very important to you and your business, which is your targeting marketing efforts. What is targeting marketing? How do you start? How do you create your ideal customer? Who is your ideal customer? These are all questions that I want you to ask yourself. Reflect on what you do each and every day and determine if you are creating content for that target audience. Now, let's start with this. Let's break it down very simply. Who is your audience? Think about the people that you attract. Think about the people that you engage with. Think about, most importantly, who you follow and connect with on social media. Think of it this way. Do you go to an open house on the weekends and you connect with new real estate agents, and your takeaway from that is by adding them to your Instagram profile? Now you're friends with them on Instagram. But then on Monday morning, you create content that's speaking to a borrower. That's not targeting your right audience. Think of it the opposite way. Do you go to an event in your local community and you connect with parents and investors and people that are looking to buy a home? And then you go on social media and you say, hey, realtors, this message is for you. That's not your target audience. You have to think of the content that you're creating and ask yourself, am I speaking to the people who are following me? Am I speaking to my target audience? Now, when you know that answer of who your audience is, who you're connecting with, the message that you're trying to get across, you're able to clearly communicate with them because you know who you're talking to. It's very simple. Right now, I'm talking to you UMortgage loan originators mostly, and also UMortgage team members. So my advice for you is to look at your social media. Think of who your friends are. Who makes up your friends? Is it your friends, family, and consumers? Start doing some educational content. Start thinking about ways that you can educate them on the mortgage process, how they can save money, build equity, invest, do all these other things that can create the power of wealth through home buying and home experiences. Or do you have an audience that's made up of mostly business professionals, investors, real estate agents, those that you connect with from a business perspective? Cater your content to messages and create content that will impact them directly. How can you offer them insight into what you offer? How can you offer partnerships with them that can strengthen their business as well? This will actually really help you, one, get creative with the content that you're producing, because now you can say, wow, what's beneficial to my partners? Or wow, what's educational to my consumers? And then you're able to express that message in a way that's easy to understand because you know exactly who you're talking to. When you create the content, it's very easy. You want to be yourself. You want to be personal. And of course, you want to keep things very simple. One time, I used to work in the news. That's a tidbit about me if you guys didn't know that. But we were always taught to communicate to people at a third grade level. Why? Because you want to be understanding. You want to say things simply. You don't want to confuse people. You don't want to distract them. You don't want to say something that's going to go over their head. When you can say it in layman's terms and you can accurately and appropriately communicate what you're trying to say, then you're able to get your message across better. It will resonate with someone. Think of stories, think of things that they can relate to, experiences that you can share. All of this will help you to create stronger content, but it really starts with your audience. Who are you targeting, and how can you make your message even clearer? We have a lot of exciting things coming from the marketing team, and we're continuing to produce new content for you, give out new products for you. I'm sure you guys saw our new digital business cards on your landing page. Feel free to continue to go out and use them. We are actually relaunching our NPS emails as well, so we are working on a way to get your borrowers more top of mind with you and giving them the ability to leave you a Google review link. So that's a teaser, but be on the lookout next week from UMortgage Communication about NPS emails that will include a Google review link, and start communicating with your borrowers to continue building your network and targeting the right audience. Until then, have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you guys soon.
Happy Wednesday, team. Excited to be here on the weekly sales meeting with you. Today, I'm going to talk about something I call position improvement. And in the Marine Corps, anytime we set up a camp or set up a base somewhere, we had this saying that position improvement is continuous. That means it's never ending. You're always working to improve your position. You're adding reinforcements, you're fortifying it, you're filling sandbags, setting out the machine guns, you're making yourself more comfortable, setting up a place to sleep. So you're always improving your position no matter what. And the same is true in the mortgage business for us as loan officers. In this situation, my position is my real estate referral database. And while I may have an existing great database already, I always want to continuously improve the referral partners that I have and get more referral partners. So today we're going to talk about some strategies I have for getting new referral partners. Because some of my existing referral partners, they may get out of the business, they may do less business this year than they did last year. So I've got to constantly be finding new referral partners because I want to build new relationships and continue growing my business. So this really comes down to the P in PAPCAR. Hopefully you remember what the first P is. It's prospecting. And that prospecting stage, some things that I do, I like to do a lot of social media, obviously. So I spend a lot of time finding new real estate agents on social media. You can hit the little search bar and search for realtor, real estate agent, and look in your area and send a bunch of friend requests. I also search on MMI and search by production, see who the producers are in my county, try to find some of those mid-range or newer agents who might be starting to get some traction, and I add them as friends on social media as well. I try to connect and engage on social media as much as possible. It helps me start to form a relationship and kind of give myself a soft introduction without just completely cold calling. Another way that I prospect is through the transactions that I'm doing. So every transaction has a buyer's agent, a listing agent typically, and that's an opportunity for me to work with someone new who I haven't worked with before, and it's an interview. So in fact, Sam gave me some homework this week on Level Up Coaching. I've got a list here printed out, all my borrowers that I closed with transactions in 2023. I've got a list of every buyer's agent and listing agent. Now, a lot of the buyer's agents are agents I'm already working with, but my homework this week is to reach out to each of these, make the phone calls. So to me, social media is kind of a long-term strategy of me kind of building my presence in front of some agents, reaching out to them when I find an opportunity. They may reach out to me. But I've also got to do some proactive outreach, do the hard things like making the calls. I hate making the calls. I'm not a phone person, but I've got to do it if I want to get new realtor relationships. The other thing I do is, we host CE classes at our office, continuing education for realtors, invite them, get them here. It's a good way to meet them face to face. Or if you don't have an office that you can go to, you can go to a title company that has a CE class, co-host one with them, go to different networking events. So you've got to get out there in front of people and do the prospecting to build those new relationships. Ultimately, once you're meeting with them, it's just a matter of getting to know them. I like to save that first meeting. I don't show up with flyers. I don't show up with business cards. I'm trying to talk as little about business as possible. I'm just trying to get to know them and let them get to know me so we can figure out if we're a good fit working together. I like to do business with my friends. I like to build relationships with those that I do business with. So it doesn't make it feel so businessy when we're doing transactions together. If my friend texts me on Saturday asking for an updated pre-approval letter, I'm not that upset about it. If it's a business thing and I feel like someone's bothering me on the weekend, now I might be upset about it. So I go into that first meeting always focused on the relationship and just getting to know them. I do want to hear some of their pain points and explain a few ways I can add value, but I'm really not trying to talk too much about business. Focus on the relationship first. So call to action this week, make some phone calls, do some proactive outreach, do some social media time, but also do some proactive outreach just like I am. Call some agents, go to some networking events, and continue to improve that position.
What's going on, everybody? Lucas Faillace. I'm the branch leader of the South Florida branch here in Hollywood, Florida. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about open houses with you today. It's something that's been very effective for me. And my goal is that by the end of this segment, you're going to have some more clarity on maybe a way to, or some ideas that you can implement on how to approach an open house that you're just walking into. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first thing I'm going to start with is preparation. So you're going to look up the open houses, right? You're going to look up the realtors, see what you can find about them online. You're going to brush up on some products and programs that can come in handy, such as the 1.0 buy down, the SPCP grant if you're in a metropolitan area, and also let's say like the 1% down. Just have a few things if you're not too familiar with them, brush up on them. Then the next thing is going to be actually approaching the open house. So, you get there, you're going to be present, right? You're going to read the room, see if they're busy, they're not busy. Are there a lot of people there? Not a lot of people there. Like, again, read the room so you're like having realistic expectations of maybe how much time they can spend with you. But, I'm going and I'm saying, hey, so-and-so, my name is Lucas. I'm actually a lender. I'm not here to really look at the house. I'm not a buyer. I actually live in the area and I wanted to come by because I looked you up. I saw the open house and I looked you up and I just wanted to come introduce myself and see how things are going for you. You're making them feel important. You're stroking their ego. And it's true. I mean, you did look them up and something prompted you to want to go to this open house. So it's all factual. And at that point, they appreciate that you were honest with them as well. So at that point, I want to ask probing questions. So I want to ask things like, how's the open house going for you today? how's the listing, how's the demands been on the listing, how'd you meet the sellers, are the sellers providing any seller credit, have you guys done a price reduction yet, like, yeah, I'm just curious, how long has it been on the market, sort of thing, how's it going. At that point, you're going to have the possibility of, like, again, that they're probably going to respond, it's going to go on for a little bit, but you're going to have the chance to use one of those things that we spoke about before. If it's the 1% down, the SPCP grant, or the temporary rate buy down, like, hey, so and so, Mr. Agent, I don't know if you've heard of or you're familiar with, boom, 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 boom. And the goal there is to show competence. You're not going to give them a whole monologue on the product and program. That's not the goal at all, especially if they're busy. But you're showing competence. You already showed your personality. You already showed that you're positive. You already showed that you're a go-getter and you're hungry and you're out here making it happen. But now you're showing a little bit of competence as well. That's the whole purpose, in my opinion, of doing that. And then at that point, see where the conversation goes again. You're reading the room, you're being present. So they might bring up something, hey, by the way, they might ask you some random question, and then you respond to the question. But then at that point, you're going to work towards the exit, like ending the whole, pop by. So you're going to see if it went, you're going to know and feel if it went well, or if it was like kind of cold or whatever. If it went very well, leave the door open for, and you want to kind of make a segue for a following appointment. So, hey, I really enjoyed getting to know about you and, some of the things that you shared with me today. I'd like to get to learn more about your business, like not like just here at the open house, like in a rush. And, maybe, we can just talk later on this week or next week. Would you have any hesitations towards that, or would you be open to that, depending on how you want to word it? More than likely, they're going to say, yeah, if you had a good conversation, they're going to be open to it. And then you follow up with them, reach out to them to set the appointment, later on. If it was kind of cold or kind of so-so, you're going to exchange business cards regardless. You're going to add them on social regardless. But then what you'll probably just do is like text them or email them, later on, or a few days later, however it is that you want to do it, just so that they have your contact information. And, it's like, hey, just, hope everything's going well with you. Here's my contact information. It was nice to meet you the other day, what have you. So that's my whole, like, beginning to end, tips that I would like to give you. And to make this happen as well, make sure you use our marketing site. We have our flyers on there for these different programs and products. You can print them out or have them digitally on your phone, ready to text or email to these agents. So make sure you go ahead and use it. And I hope you guys go out there and make it happen.
Thanks, Lucas. I want to talk about onboarding. Now, I'm not talking about the onboarding you might think of when you switch from one mortgage company to the next, that onboarding process, but I'm talking about onboarding of a new referral partner, real estate agent, or even a new client. When you onboard with a company, that's your first impression of what your business is going to look like, the people you're going to be working with. If your onboarding experience is lackluster or miserable, it really sets the tone for the relationship going forward. So let's talk about what it looks like to onboard an agent or a client when you get that first-time phone call. Let's talk about a real estate agent. You get that first-time phone call. Are we just having somewhat of a lackluster conversation with them? Are we saying, hey, send me the client's information and I'll give them a call, and letting that real estate agent off the phone? Or are we actually delivering somewhat of a wow experience? Think about it. How many times did they call a mortgage lender and get the exact same thing? Hey, we close deals on time, we have great rates, and we have great communication. Everybody says the same thing. What are we doing to separate ourselves from the pack? For me, when I used to do a lot of production, I did something called the triple threat. Most of the time I spoke with a new referral partner, it was over the phone. They would either call me or I would be cold calling them, and they would send me that first referral. Or we would have that conversation and say, hey, I've got a buyer for you. Okay. First and foremost, I want to know about your business. This is an opportunity for you to be interested and not interesting. So many mortgage lenders will dive into this and talk all about themselves, of what they've done and the accolades they've won and how much business they've closed. They're being interesting to that referral partner, but they're not being interested in them. So number one, be interested, not interesting. Ask lots of questions. Hey, do you primarily work with buyers or sellers? What's your primary market you're working in? Do you have specific neighborhoods that you're focusing on? And help them grow their business by garnering information and then using that information to your advantage. That's step one of the triple threat, is number one, be interested with them. As soon as you get off that phone call with them, step two of the triple threat comes in. That as soon as you get off the phone with them, send them a text message thanking them. hey, Johnny, thanks so much for the opportunity to work with you. Here is my contact information. My preferred method of contact is email or text. Set the stage for them. How many times that you're driving and someone calls you and you have this conversation, but you're driving, you don't really get all the information you need. So follow it up with a text message, but don't stop there. Ask for their contact information back in that text. And when they send it to you, send them the third part of the triple threat, which is a follow-up email. I used to type up what I called my mortgage resume, and I would type them up an email of what the expectations they can expect out of us are. I gave them expectations of how my team and I like to be presented to clients. Again, if we don't set those premises, if we don't set how they should present to us, they're probably going to hand out 3 business cards and say, call these lenders. But if you can say, hey, if you're someone that hands out 3 business cards, I understand, but set mine at the top of the pile and say, hey, I've got to give you 3, but this is the guy that absolutely is going to get your deal done and get it done on time and get it done with great communication and at a great rate. These real estate agents are waiting for us to tell them how they want us to be sold to the client. In that email, I'm setting expectations of what they can expect from us every single time that we speak with a referral prior to them being pre-approved. We're going to communicate that back to the real estate agent 100% of the time. If they send me a referral, I pick the phone up, I call, I leave a voicemail, I text that agent back and say, hey, just an FYI, I left Johnny a voicemail. I'll follow up with him again and let you know. Put yourself in the real estate agent's shoes. That referral they're giving you is their paycheck. And if they send that referral to you and you're calling that referral 10 times, you're doing your work. But if you're not communicating back to them the level of work you're doing, they're sitting there in the dark wondering if you, the mortgage lender, are actually following up at all. Communicate, communicate, communicate. As we get busier in this business, and we're going to get busier, we're already seeing it in January. We're about to have a record-breaking January here. For me, as we get busier, we need to have these processes and systems dialed in and in place. So begin to work on how you're going to deliver the wow factor in onboarding new agents and new clients. Another thing I want to talk about is touch points in person. Rene Rodriguez, he's amazing, good friend of mine. I hope you've had the opportunity to hear him speak. If you haven't, you need to. He talks, and it's a study that was done that says that when you speak with someone, the impact you're having, only 7% of the impact comes from the words you speak, which is why an email or a text message is a really, really poor form of communication. Only 7% of impact comes from words. 38% comes from the tone of your voice, which is why phone calls and videos always trump communication than just a text message or an email. But 55% also comes from body language, and that is being in person. So if you're not right now in your market setting up happy hours and events and things you're doing and lunch and learns, I implore you to get out in your market and do it. It seems like, if you haven't done them, a daunting task. It seems like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of preparation. But real estate agents love happy hours. We recently just hosted one in Jacksonville, Florida. We're hosting another one in about a month in southern Georgia. They're amazing opportunities. Team up with a title company, maybe a home inspection company. Split the cost 3 ways. And you can get 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 real estate agents to come out. You may spend $2,000 on an event like that, but to get face-to-face time where you can actually be in person with the referral partners who are sending you business and prospective referral partners, there's no better way to spend some money and your time than being in person with people. That's what I've got for you guys today. Let's get out. Let's make our 2024 amazing. Q1 is already stacking up to be amazing. But if we can implement and change just a few things with our morning routine and how we onboard people and getting more out there in person, getting away from behind a screen and spending time in person with people, I think 2024 is going to be an amazing road forward. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.